Well, good morning, everyone. Aloha. Kakayake komamai. Good morning and welcome, Unity Church of Kona. Well, beautiful week. I hope everybody enjoyed their week as we gather back together. If you'd all like to please stand, and we'll say the April affirmation for the month, which is strength. And if you'd all like to say it together, I have strength to accomplish all that is mine to do. And thank you, God, we do. Please stay together, standing as we sing our opening song, Stand Together by Faith Rivera.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
And our word for the day is healing. And the phrase is, I praise and bless the life energy in my body and mind. Unity co-founder Myrtle Fillmore's healing from serious illness led to founding of the Unity movement. She discovered that her intelligence could guide the life energy in her body. She wrote, I began to teach my body and got marvelous results. Speaking words of strength and power, Myrtle praised the life in every part of her body. She prayed, asking for strength to think only kind, loving, and sincere thoughts about her body. Myrtle refused to be discouraged when her progress seemed slow. Eventually, in 2 years, she realized wholeness. Following Myrtle's example, I release all thought of weakness or disease. In steadfast faith, I praise and bless the life energy in my body and mind. I realize wholeness. He said to her, daughter, your faith has made you well. Go in peace. Luke 8:48. And if you'll say the phrase for today with me, I praise and bless the life energy in my body and mind.
And with that, I'd like to ask you to just close your eyes for a moment as we visualize our sanctuary. Visualize the sanctuary as a beautiful heart, feeling the loving energy of those all around you, flowing in and through you. See the flowing through our sanctuary from the front of the church all the way to the back with Kayla and the children. Fill this beautiful heart with love. Spread the light out to the community of Kona. As the heart swells, it encompasses all the island. As the loving energy of our love flows out into the world, this light of love surrounds us all as we say the prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. And the presence of God watches over us wherever I am. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. Thank you, God. Amen. Our meditation song.
Choice to make. Every thought is another opportunity to shine, to be a light for all to see. The choice is mine to manifest a destiny so divine and full of possibility. It's plain to see, it's up to me, and I will choose love, I will choose kindness, I will choose peace in every word I say, and I will choose love, I will choose honor, see the divine in everything that comes my way. every day. I will choose love. Love is a river that flows through you and me. Love, let it guide your footsteps, heal your heart and set you free. And I will choose love, I will choose kindness, I will choose peace in every word I say, and I will choose love, I will choose honor, see the divine in everything that comes my way, each and every day. I will choose love.
I'd like to ask you now to take your seats and relax as we share a few moments of meditation. As we close our eyes and become one with the light that is God within us. Take a nice big breath and hold that breath for just a moment. As we move that breath out of our body, it takes twice as long. So it's an inhale, hold, and an exhale. It focuses on the breath. With that exhale, we release the gratitude. With the inhale, we absorb the love. The inhale of the love, and the exhale of the gratitude. And the thinking comes into play. It's just thinking. Clean the thoughts. That's where you are. That's the thinker. So take a big breath. Hold it for just a moment. And then move that breath through your body, through any pain, through any aspect of your body that hurts. Move it through, and the healing will come through. As we hold the breath of life, we let our mind's eyes see into the light. And the pictures that come in are just the thinking, but hold the space between the thoughts. Follow that space. Look into that space deeply. When thoughts come in, it's just thinking. Follow the light. Follow your path. As your path is your path, it's different from anyone else's. And your path leads you to a place of sanctuary. Sometimes your path is through a forest. Sometimes it's through a desert. Sometimes you meet dragons along the path. Push them aside. They're just thinking. The mind is capable of anything. Look to control the mind and the thinking. And dwell in that light that is you within, between the thoughts. Now as you follow your path, you come to a place of peace. Maybe a pond or a lake, shrouded with trees. And you jump into this lake, and you float in that peace that is yours, a peace that is pure silence. As you inhale, you absorb the love, and you bring it to your peace. Love love is what we are. Peace is our natural state. Holding the love of the moment, sanctuary within yourself, is your personal church. We all have this place, and everyone's place is different. Accepting through your breath your own place of sanctuary whenever you have need for this sanctuary. Inhale a big breath. Exhale the gratitude, the delight in life that gives you this place of peace. And as we come back to our chairs, into this moment right now, rejuvenated from this place, our own sanctuary, our place of pure joy. Say, thank you, God, for the power, the presence, and the light within.
I'm here before you today because I've spent my whole life trying to understand how to communicate with other people and how to understand myself more clearly. So it's kind of a lifelong passion for me. And partly because I was a really deep, complex little kid growing up in an immigrant family that was really concerned a lot with survival, and like how to get to the next level and how to train us, to have like values around being a good citizen and, like in my case, being a woman, being really good with domestics, which I am. But there were other things I wanted to be good at. I wanted to really be able to express some of the deeper parts of myself. And I came up, through my childhood not knowing how to do that. And so when I was probably by my late teens, it was really clear I was stuck. And so I started on this journey of, at first it looked like seeing therapists and, every therapist I went to, it was the only question they ever had for me was, what are you feeling? And I never could answer it for years. It took a long time. And so I kind of made it it's one of my passions in life to understand what I'm feeling, what my needs are, and to extend that gift to other people, to really understand what the inner landscape is of the person in front of me and the richness of that, and to receive it the best I can. And I don't always do that in the way that I would like, but one of the things that I'm grateful for is that with nonviolent communication, when I encountered it about 20 years ago, I immediately knew I had a model and a tool for how to do that. And that's what I'm going to share with you about today. So I'm going to focus on 6 relationship superpowers. And kind of the just so you have a bigger picture of this, is that what I've noticed is that within each of us, there's this landscape that is like no other person. It's like, you could see it as like we're museums, each of us, of the finest art and jewels, and we just have to uncover and discover and give form to it. And within that landscape, there are places that feel dark, places that are like shadow, and that sometimes these places stay unlit until we find a way to bring healing light. There are also places that it seems like from the minute we are born, they are like a lush garden that we're expressing these magical gifts. And I'm sure like you've all seen that in your little ones, right? Where it's like, where did that come from? You can just see the natural magic and gift in this person as soon as they're born. And there are places within us that get hurt through the journey of living in this rough world of judgments and violence that we encounter sometimes. And there are places of great wisdom and clarity, and that are just waiting to be given as a gift to the world. So relationships, I see relationships as a way to explore and kind of coax out the potential in each other and to heal whatever is there to be healed. So creating relationships, from what I can tell, takes as much skill and discipline as mastering any other kind of accomplishment. And yet, oddly, in our culture, we don't really have very many guidelines. And the guidelines that we do have are often kind of vague, like the golden rule. I mean, it's great. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. But it's a little vague for me. I like something that's a little more specific. And then the other one that I remember from being a little kid, are there any Bambi fans in here? Yes. I will never forget the first time I heard what Thumper's mother said to him. If you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. And that was great, but you know what? I was already such a good little girl. I really almost didn't need to hear that. What I've had to work with is really more like how to be kind and compassionate and still be honest. And sometimes in our culture, we tend to equate honesty with not being nice. So we're going to talk a little bit about this today. I do want to tell you that nonviolent communication, which I call NVC, it was developed by Marshall Rosenberg in the 70s. And it's really a model that helps us accept our differences with compassion. It helps us expand our capacity to be present with and manage our difficult emotions that come up. Like, you know, we get scared, we get hurt, we get angry and frustrated. And how do we move in closer to that and kind of understand and receive the gifts that that message wants to give us? And it helps us like expand our own inner life by learning to name and express our feelings with clarity. So my favorite way about this model, my favorite thing, is that it actually gives us a navigational pathway. And through that pathway, we can have conversations and connections with people that allow us to explore our differences, even when it really looks like, how are we going to come to terms on this? And it allows us to repair harm when we've hurt each other. So the first and my favorite, if we do nothing else, would be empathic listening. So we're social beings, and like the divine source gives us each this unique inner life. And because we're social beings, a big part of how we come to know ourselves is by how others receive and hold space for our qualities to emerge. So listening is a great gift we can give each other, and it's great for the listener as well as for the person sharing. You know, for the listener, to me, when I'm having a connection with somebody where we're really listening to each other, it's like being plugged into this divine circuit. You know, it's just, there's such a feeling of the deepest connection we can have in the universe. So I want to tell you a story. I have lots of stories about things I experience myself, and I'm always working with how can I use these skills, and things that I see sometimes. So some of you may know I'm also an artist. So a few months ago, on a first Friday up in Holualoa, I was standing in front of the gallery that my work is in, and this mother came marching her little 4-year-old out of the gallery, and I was instantly like, oh, something's wrong here. The little girl was just wailing at the top of her lungs, and she's down here, and the mother is saying to her in a very strident voice, it is not okay to touch the art. If you're going to touch the art, you can't go in the gallery. And the little girl's wailing, but I want to, I have to. And the mother continues on, and I'm standing there and I'm going into this anxiety, and I just thought, okay, just stay calm and watch. There's nothing for me to do. And this goes on for a couple more rounds. And finally, her arms are wrapped around her mother, and she looks up and she's crying, and she says, but that's who I am. And I was like, oh, whoa, that is so powerful. She doesn't know how to name exactly who she is and what she's needing to do, but she's claiming it, and unfortunately her mother continued on. And so, what I guess with her mother is that she was feeling a lot of anxiety around, like wanting to protect what was in the gallery and doing the best she knew how to teach her daughter values around caring for other people's things. But what I got with the little girl was that frustration she was feeling was an amazing gift to her. So I got, she's a highly kinesthetic person. She was probably feeling the same pain I feel when I'm in museums, this yearning that's almost painful to touch things. And sometimes I do, I sneak. So I just sat there and I just stood there and I thought, wow. So she was able to name enough about her experience, that's who I am, that eventually that little girl is going to be able to say, I'm a highly kinesthetic person. For me to touch things, for me to feel things and experience things, I really need to touch them, but now I'm grown up enough to know not to do that. So if her mother had just been able to take a guess, like something like, wow, I bet that's frustrating for you because how you enjoy things is to touch them. And that doesn't mean she agrees, but just to acknowledge and hold the little girl's reality so she could feel it and own it herself more easily. So that's the power of listening. It's just simply when somebody shares something, whether they're acting it out, like the little girl, is to translate that behavior or what they're saying into what are the needs they're trying to meet. And to then be able to just reflect back to them what you think you're hearing. So the next superpower, as you might have guessed, has to do with listening as well. And this one is more like listening inside of ourselves. And the great power of that is that when we listen to ourselves, usually the first thing we're hearing quite often is some contraction. Yes, we're feeling joy, we feel a whole lot of things, but what can be problematic for us humans, we move toward joy, but we tend to move away from uncomfortable feelings. So when we're feeling uncomfortable feelings, to move in and just take a guess, oh, what's that about? Like, I'm really feeling that. Where am I feeling it? What's that feeling trying to tell me? Oh, I'm feeling angry, like that anxiety I felt when the mother was talking to her daughter. I don't want to move away from that. I just want to stay with it and feel it and go, oh yeah, that I'm feeling anxious because I would so love it for all of us to be heard for what's important to us. And to just stand there and own that allowed me to stand there without interfering or reacting to what was happening. So it's kind of that self-connection. It's about listening to ourselves, regulating our emotions, and then being able to name what's important to us. What is my need here? What am I valuing? What matters to me here? And often, when it's an uncomfortable emotion, we just get mired in the emotion and don't move forward to what's the gift here? What is this emotion wanting me to hear on a deeper level that's important to me, that's positive? So, the other positive thing about this kind of inner listening is that it really takes us to a place where we are responsible for our own reactions and responses. And we can develop our capacity for that and then being able to articulate what's important to us, to other people. Which leads us to the next superpower, number 3, express yourself clearly with I messages and no blame. Easier said than done. So, as I said, sadly, I think Thumper's mother could have been a little clearer. We think we're being nice when we're withholding our truth quite often. But it's that process of getting in touch with our feelings and needs when we own it and can express it and just say to a person, here's what I'm feeling and here's what's important to me, without any blame, without that preface of, you did this, and that's why I feel this, to just keep it very clean. So I had a situation recently where a friend came to me and expressed something that I did that hurt her. And that I didn't include her in something I was doing with another friend that had to do with a work project that she had expressed some interest in before, but I hadn't somehow thought it was the right situation to include her. So I made that decision on my own. And so what was amazing was that she came to me expressing her hurt and disappointment, but she did it in such a way that it was so clean and clear. She described very clearly what she was feeling, what she would have liked, and she revealed also why this was such a trigger for her, why she felt so deeply about it. And she was able to be very articulate about her inner landscape so I could understand it. And because she happens to be really skilled in communication, we really literally spent an hour doing this repair of our relationship, that if we had not done it, this is the kind of thing that would have put roots down and carried through probably the rest of our relationship with some, niggling about trust not being met. So what made the conversation work was the way she was able to come forward, reveal transparently what was going on for her, and she was able to hear me as I took the space and time to explore, well, what happened for me? Why did I do that? And get in touch with, well, first of all, I had to go through my own feelings of being scared, because that's the first thing that comes up for me when I, quote, think I did something wrong, that I might be hurting somebody. So just working through that, and then being able to take the time and she listened to me while I explored what was happening with me, that I made that decision on my own without connecting with you. And I had good intentions, and I made a mistake. And so we were able to work that through so that we really heard each other, and it really created a much deeper place for us to go forward in our relationship. And we understood each other a whole lot better. Like, I understand so much about just who she is as a person through her revealing so honestly in that situation. And so that kind of conversation is what I think of as dialogue. It's like a dialogue where two people or more come together to hold space that includes all the individuals to come to a bigger we. And it's not about capitulating, it's really about